The trail was supposed to be a loop, 6 miles, clearly marked, impossible to get lost. That's what the sign said. By the time the sun dipped behind the tree tops, the trail markers were gone, not faded, gone, as if they'd never been there at all. The woods pressed close, trunks packed so tightly together that the sky was reduced to thin grey slashes overhead. That's when I noticed the trees were leaning, not all at once, not obviously, but every time I stopped and turned around, they were just a little closer than before, bark creaking softly like old joints. When the wind died, the forest didn't go quiet, it listened. I kept walking, faster now. My phone had no signal, no GPS. My compass needle spun like it was trying to flee the casing. Every direction felt wrong, like stepping deeper into something's throat. Then I heard footsteps, not behind me, matching mine. When I stopped, they stopped. When I took a slow step, so did they, crunching leaves at the exact same rhythm. I called out, my voice swallowed instantly, like the forest didn't want it. I broke into a run. The trees blurred, branches clawing at my jacket, ripping fabric, drawing thin, burning lines across my skin. The footsteps stayed with me, always just a half second behind. I dared a glance over my shoulder and saw myself. Same clothes, same terrified face, but its eyes were wrong, too dark, too deep, and its mouth stretched into a smile. I tripped, hit the ground hard. When I scrambled up, the woods were still and quiet. No footsteps, no wind, no insects. Then the trees began to lean all at once. They bent inward, groaning, branches interlocking overhead like ribs closing around a chest. Roots shifted beneath the soil, rising, blocking every path. The forest wasn't surrounding me anymore. It was closing in. The thing that looked like me stepped out from behind a tree. It stood perfectly still, smiling wider, waiting. I realized that the trail was a loop. It just needed someone to replace. When the search party found the trail days later, they found fresh footprints leading out of the woods. They matched mine exactly. The trail sign said 2 hours round trip. I checked my watch when I stepped onto the path, 1:15 p.m. The woods were calm, sunlight filtered through the leaves. Birds calling overhead. It felt safe, natural. 20 minutes in, I noticed my watch had stopped. I tapped it, shook it. The second hand twitched, then froze again. My phone showed me the same time, 1:15 p.m, no matter how long I walked. That should have scared me a lot more than it did. The trail kept going and going. Trees grew denser, older, their bark split and blackened like burn scars. The air thickened, heavy enough to taste. I passed the same fallen log 3 times, each time more decayed than before. Then I found a backpack. It lay just off the trail, half buried in leaves. Inside were modern things, energy bars, a GPS, a phone. The phone was unlocked. On the screen was a video. A man stood in front of the camera, panic etched into his face. "If you are watching this," he said, voice trembling, "don't keep walking. It doesn't let you leave the way you came. Time doesn't work right here." The video timestamp read 1:15 p.m. Behind me, the forest exhaled. Branches bent inward, path narrowing, trees knitting together like scar tissue. I turned back, but the trail behind me was gone, replaced with a solid wall of trunks and thorns. I ran forward. The woods grew darker, colder. I passed tents, shoes, scraps of clothing, some fresh, some ancient. I saw names carved into the bark, layered over one another, decades deep. Then I reached the clearing. In the center stood a sign, freshly painted. 2 hours, round trip. Below it, carved deep into the wood, someone has to stay. I don't know how long I've been here now. My watch still says 1:15 p.m. The trail behind me is open again. I hear footsteps coming closer. Someone else is hiking in. I'm so tired, and the forest is hungry. Everyone in town said the same thing about Black Pine Forest. If you hear whistling, don't follow it. I laughed the first time I heard it, a single, clear tune drifting between the trees while I set up my campsite. Wind through the branches, I thought. Then it changed. It stopped sounding like a song and started sounding like someone trying to remember one. The whistling stumbled, repeated notes, long pauses, as if the whistler was listening for a response. Each time it stopped, the forest went unnaturally quiet. No bugs, no birds, no rustling leaves. That's when I answered. I whistled back. The sound cut off instantly. Then came 3 slow footsteps. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Hello, I called, heart pounding. No answer. Just the smell of damp earth and something sour, like rot hidden beneath pine needles. The whistling started again. Closer now. Too close. It came from everywhere at once, bouncing off tree trunks and impossible to pinpoint. I packed up fast, hands shaking, flashlight beams slicing through the dark. The trees looked wrong at night, taller, crooked. Faces seemed to form in the bark when I wasn't looking directly at them. The whistling followed me. Whenever I stopped, it stopped. Whenever I moved, it lagged behind, just far enough to keep me guessing. At one point, it whistled my own tune back at me, note for note. I ran. Branches whipped my face, roots grabbed my ankles. I burst into a clearing and froze. My campsite was there, exactly as I'd left it, but I was standing where I'd been minutes ago. Behind me, the whistling came right next to my ear. I turned slowly. It was tall, too tall, bent at angles a human spine couldn't imagine. Its mouth was stretched into a perfect O, lips cracked and bleeding, no tongue inside, just darkness. It had no eyes, but it leaned closer as if studying my face. Then it whistled again. This time, the sound came from my own mouth. I don't remember screaming. I remember waking up at the edge of the forest at dawn, clothes torn, throat raw and bleeding. Rangers say I wandered out on my own. But sometimes, late at night, I hear someone whistling outside my window, and my lips move without me meaning them to.